The Empowerment Show aims to equip individuals with the necessary tools, knowledge, and confidence to make informed decisions and take control of their lives. It also focuses on ensuring access to essential resources and the opportunities.
Well, good evening, young ladies, and welcome to the Empowerment Show.
Good
Really
evening.
glad to have you here. I got to tell you, you always wanted to know why I wanted to interview you. So I went over your bio, and you're amazing. I mean, there's nothing else I can really say. I don't know what year you were born, but I'm sure it must have been really hard times when during that time period. I was born and it was still segregation. My birth certificate says Negro, so I'm think you're a little older than me. So why don't you tell me about how it was when you were growing up? I'm just curious, trying to get my flowers right now.
Well, when I was growing up,
Hmm.
I grew up in the South and it was segregated.
Hmm.
Yes, I went to all black school and there were separate privileges for based on your race
Right.
on just about everything.
Whites only, blacks only. A lot
Yeah.
of privileges going on for whites.
Where you ate, where you visited, the movies even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the South was at that time.
And did you have a hard time? Did you have a hard time with it when you were growing up? Yeah, I mean, when you were growing up, did you? Okay, when I was born, I went through some tragedies, mostly environmental, and because of where I grew up at, it was kind of rough. They call it Brownsville, Brooklyn. It's kind of rough, but I could not imagine growing up in the South, probably in the 50s, 40s. I couldn't imagine doing that. My mother was born in 1942. Now, she used to tell me some stories about things that took place before me. So, what I'm trying to do here, you're an elder, and I want people to understand that you're an elder and that you've gone down a certain road and you've come out, I mean, really amazing. I read your bio, like I said, and I wish I had as much education and skills as you have. I mean, is there any place that you haven't worked? You've done civil rights movement work. You've done all kind of work, and I think it's amazing.
Well, my early childhood was very challenging, uh, much tragedy, but I was always challenged, and it never occurred to me to say, "Well, I can't do that because I have no parents."
Mm.
It I knew that I was responsible for myself, and I accepted it.
Do you have any siblings?
I had two sisters; they're both deceased.
Did you have to raise them?
They were older.
Oh, older.
Mhm.
Okay.
But my older sister pretty much played mama to me.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Outstanding. I think that is outstanding. I don't want to forget about you, young lady. So please introduce
Oh, no,
yourself.
I'm fine. I mean,
No,
I'm
please.
learning to.
No, please introduce yourself.
Carmen Broadmax.
Please introduce yourself.
Carmen Broadmax.
And
I am a member of the Democratic Party. I am with the Top of the Mountain. And I also chair the committee for the Speakers Bureau.
okay.
The Speakers Bureau has similar goals to you, the objective of bringing information to people. And so we invite people with expertise in various areas, topical concerns,
Okay.
and have them give presentations to the community.
How are we doing in the Democratic Party this year?
How we're doing is trying to claw our way back.
Okay. I mean, because people say that I'm a Democrat. You know, I'm a Democrat. I'm at all the meetings, right? And people say that we're not doing anything. We're not fighting. We're not fighting back. We're just allowing things to go the way that they're going.
Well, I disagree with that. Well, maybe we didn't fight back in the past, but we're fighting back now. And I say that because now the Republicans have been shown. When we allowed that to happen, it was over.
Hmm.
Because I totally don't understand the dynamics here. How a person like Mr. Trump can control the world, but that's another story. But Republicans are hiding in the closet. They won't have town hall meetings. So guess what? Democrats are holding town hall meetings in Republican precincts.
Hmm.
And Republicans are showing up.
Yeah, what was it? Taylor Greene, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they just arrested 3 people that were protesting at a town hall meeting against her. You know, she's a Republican, big time Republican. Let me ask you though, during your little travels here through life, have you ever met another Trump or Trump-like person?
Not quite.
Mm.
No, but the Trumps have been, well, I lived in New York, so
Okay.
everybody who lived in
New Yorkers
pretty much
knew
knew
Trump.
Trump.
We knew him for what he was.
Mm.
But I would say that politically in American politics, anyway, the closest thing that we may have encountered would be the age of McCarthyism.
Okay.
To me, there are
A lot of similarities.
similarities to it, but Trump takes it to a different level.
Mm.
And so we're dealing with that now, of course. I think we didn't take Project 2025 seriously. And we are now reacting to every hand grenade that he throws out.
Mm.
But it was all laid out in Project 2025. And so now we're dealing with it.
Well, I think we took it seriously, but when people didn't hear it because they didn't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of independents and some Democrats who bought the story. But he told us what he was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said he didn't know what 2025 was, that report. But he told us what he wanted to do. But some things I sort of didn't expect them to do was defy the entire Constitution. I didn't expect that.
Or judges.
No.
Well, that's all part of the Constitution. I mean, this is a government that's based on like a three-legged stool.
Mm-hmm.
The judiciary, the legislative, and the executive.
Right.
The legislative body has just given up what it appears to be their role.
Exactly.
And so,
Well, he put most of them in their role. A good majority of them, anyway. The judges, the federal judges, the Supreme Court judges.
I don't think it's the majority. It may seem like it is the majority because they are the ones that speak the
The
loudest.
loudest.
But he wants to do this in a hurry because if he does it in a hurry, it makes us a society that's intimidated,
Mm.
that's hungry, that's jobless, that have nothing, no benefits. If he can do it before next year's term, that's why he's in such a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
then he'll be what he wants to be, President ever.
He wants to be king.
And when I said earlier about him throwing hand grenades every day, it's a new hand grenade. That is the intimidation factor.
Mm.
And what it does is it either makes people paralyzed, where they say, what can I do? And they do nothing out of fear. Or there are those of us who say, oh no,
Right.
I'll do something, anything, because I don't agree with what he's doing.
I mean, like on April 18th, there's supposed to be a big march on April 18th. You know about that?
On April 19th.
Is
I
it
believe.
19th? Okay,
April
it's the
19th,
19th. I mean,
there's going to be a march
right.
on Main Street. Everyone is congregating at the Courthouse Square, 11:30. The march begins at noon, up and down Main Street. And
Now, I'm sorry.
this is implemented by a group called Indivisible. And Indivisible started in the first Trump administration by staff members who worked in that administration, saw what he was doing, and sent the call out, to the elective body, and it's been in operation since that time. And I'm glad to see that it's still effective.
Oh, now Monroe County has a grant to individual.
Yeah, I actually downloaded the original guidelines for starting your own organization, but at that time I really wasn't affiliated that closely with any party, so much. I didn't have, the experience, but I have the original plans for it.
Mhm. So what do you think? I got two questions I want to ask you. One is Trump is planning to administer martial law for
Mhm.
those who feel that they want to protest. Um, well, answer that one first. I'll hit you with the next
I don't know if there's an answer for it, because if law enforcement follows his edict
one.
on arresting people, we just need to have attorneys, a cadre of attorneys, because that's what's going to be necessary.
Now, us marching, let me ask you, what do you think it's going to accomplish? What's our goal, our end goal here? Throughout the years, we've had boycotts, we've had protests. At one point, the boycotts actually, they did it. We had a little power because we were using, it was our money that they needed in order to make the country continue to run. So the boycott worked really well. But how are the protests going to work so well, especially if he plans on implementing martial law?
I realize that you're younger than either of us, actually, but I'm sure you have heard of the era of Hitler,
Mm-hmm.
and what is going on now is very similar to that time frame. And what we ask now, what I asked from the time I was a child, why didn't anyone do anything about it?
Mm.
Why didn't anyone do anything about it? Even with slavery, people said, well, why didn't they do something about it? People do. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today if people hadn't done it.
Right.
And you asked the question of Betty in the beginning. What are the Democrats doing? We're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther-
You haven't seen that it's been put out there that actually us as African Americans should not participate in these protests. Have you guys heard about that?
I've heard it, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
And because the issue here is the very lifeblood of America, and we may have come here involuntarily, but we are here for good. And
That's right.
We are Americans, and we love our country. And protest, yes. Protest sends a very loud voice. And the louder the voice, more and more is likely to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will it work with Mr. Trump? No. Will it work on legislators who are planning on being reelected? Yes. Okay. And that's a target now. And I think every seat that been vacant so far in the last several months,
Mm-hmm.
Democrats took it because
of the elections, yes.
Yeah, they took the elections. So they are hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to make a decision. Are they more afraid of Trump than they have love for the country?
And on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break for about 30 seconds. So just stay with us a second, okay? All right, this commercial was brought to you and sponsored by the Wolfpack. Wolfpack, they believe they spell it with a W. They spell it pretty much the way the Germans spell it, with a PH. With a PH, they spell it Wolfpack. Wolfpack Apparel and Sporting Goods. We're back. Hi.
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 We were discussing about how much impact will the protest make.
it has protest has worked
Mm-hmm.
for years. I've been on picket lines and protests for 50 years. And of course, I have done nothing solely on my own, but it's many voices, many protests that have gotten attention to move us forward,
Mm-hmm.
move us forward as a nation, move us forward as Black Americans. And I just happen to think that with Mr. Trump, it doesn't matter because he doesn't even respect the court.
Mm.
But with legislators and incumbents, it does.
Well, that's why I asked you to come in. You've seen this before. You've been down this road before, as far as the protests are concerned and the
Absolutely.
boycotts are concerned. What do you tell the youth?
Well,
Doing
Tell
nothing
them-
is concurrence. It's just as damaging as what they're trying to do to us. If you do nothing, you're making a statement.
Mhm.
That's what I tell the youth.
well, what we try to be, and we're outreaching to youth now,
Right.
we try to make them understand how the system works, what accountability is, what the laws are. And we focus mostly on local government, but
Mhm.
we want people to understand. And local government is the easiest one to focus on because it's as close to home as home itself. All your basic needs. You want to build a shed, anything you want to do, you got to go to the township.
I think it's a
To
lack
get a
of
permit.
education as well.
Exactly.
It's like one of the things that Trump said, and I said it before, is that he says, I love the poorly educated.
He did.
And there's a reason for that, because
Of
the
course.
poorly educated are easy manipulated.
Exactly.
Now, in this country, when it comes to education, as you can see, they want to throw out the baby and the bathwater. So how do you think that's going to affect us as African Americans?
Well, I think it may not affect us as much as people think it will,
Mm-hmm.
because all this DEI stuff. By the way, Mr. Trump, I believe, created the DEI when he was his first term. It's people being made to believe that DEI is beneficial to mostly minorities.
Mm.
That is not true.
No.
So that's his spiel. Even the people who are going to suffer the most believe that.
Mm.
And they'll continue to believe that when they realize they don't have any Medicaid or
Social Security.
Exactly.
That was one of the things that he wants to play around with. It is your money from the Social Security, so he can give money to his billionaire bros,
Exactly.
as they say.
And people, by them showing up at democratic functions and
Mhm.
protests, means they're starting to get the message that they are in jeopardy. But that DEI story doesn't work
Mm.
because I got an education before there was DEI.
How about that?
Okay, it wasn't easy. Okay, but I did it.
Well, we did a lot of things before we became into the Democratic Party, or even when we were segregated. We built towns, we built schools,
Absolutely.
we educated ourselves. We did a lot of things. We circulated money within our own communities so that our communities can grow. We policed and governed our own communities.
Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma. But I also want to mention, back at the time of Emmett Till assassination, it was the youth that went out and started protesting in lunch counters.
Okay.
These were the college kids. It wasn't the adults. The adults came along later, but it was the youth. And this is what we need to do today, and reinvigorate the youth to
Mhm.
participate. Worldwide protests seems to me always to start with the college students. And that's what
Well,
we
the
need
one
today.
college student, he was protesting, and he found himself in El Salvador.
That is true. I mean, you may find yourself in El
I
Salvador
may.
if Trump has his way.
If he decides I want to take Haitians, I'm not saying that I'm Haitian, but with the mob mentality, they can't tell. They look at me, you look Haitian, you're going.
Right.
And that's that mob mentality. And I heard that he was talking. Well, I actually saw that he was speaking to the president of El Salvador,
Yes.
and they were talking about taking homegrown
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's what
American
I'm talking about.
citizens, putting them on a plane and sending them off to El Salvador. And I said that reminds me. I know it's another country, but it reminds me of what they did in Russia. You piss them off, you end up in Siberia.
But exiling Americans is un-American.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a step too far, even for the MAGA crowd.
Mm.
You just can't pick people up off the street and banish them for the rest of their lives, even though he would like to. And unfortunately,
you can't legally pick people up off the street. He has done it already.
And Mayor Adams, this, what do you call it, sanctuary towns, sanctuary cities? Mayor Adams is going to let them in. He made the deal with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
The devil always won his due.
well, we deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with it. We don't get paralyzed and do nothing and just let it happen. Like a steamroller, you just lie down and let it happen. No.
So,
Even if it doesn't accomplish what you want at that time, someone else will pick up the banner
Mm-hmm.
and carry it forward. That's how we got to where we are.
And most certainly.
so what we do at our club, Top of the Mountain, is our main mission is educating the community.
Okay.
And most of the Speakers Bureau presentations we've had were selected by the community. And we believe that, I know that an educated community is an active community.
Yes, it is.
So
It's an empowered community.
exactly. And
Pun the
what?
phrase.
So the empowering people, okay, showing that they have some type of control over their life makes all the difference in the world,
Yes, it does.
okay, because they really believe and they know they have power. So that's what we try to do, is teach people
Mhm.
how things work, or how it affects you, and try to build that leadership in the community so people can run for office and be effective, and the community can rely on that person and be proud of that
Now,
person.
you say it's top of the mountain?
Yes,
Top of
Make
the
sure
mountain.
Pocono,
Top of the Mountain Democratic
Top of
Club.
the Mountain
the
Democratic.
Democratic Club.
Yeah,
I just wanted everybody to know where it is.
absolutely.
Now, if they wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
We have keep talking, Carmen. I'm going to give you.
I just wanted to bring up the Speakers Bureau, which is an idea that we implemented, I guess, back in 2022.
Okay.
The idea was to educate the community. And our first presentation was with Matt Cartwright, who was running
Okay.
for Congress at
Yes.
that time. But also we had John Christie, who was commissioner, or is currently still commissioner of Monroe County.
All right.
We've done presentations on book banning, on school funding. We've had the chief of the regional police to talk about policing as well as community relations.
All right.
We've had land
Now,
use.
I didn't bring my glasses.
Okay.
Probably can't see.
I didn't bring mine either.
Young lady, I think you're going to have to read that information to the people. You know how it is, us maturing people, I got to have glasses. I can't see.
Oh, my name is Betty Terrell Cruz. I'm president of the Top of the Mountain Democratic Club, which serves 5 polling precincts in the West End, the mountain area, I should say. That's Mount Pocono, Tobyhanna East, Tobyhanna West, Tocanic East, Tocanic West. We meet on the 3rd Saturday of every month, except August when we vacation and rest, and December is when we party. And we do presentations to educate the
Hold
community.
on. I heard party.
Oh, we have several of those.
Well, our Christmas party is
That's
probably
okay.
the most well-attended party in the whole county.
What are we doing for Easter?
Well, actually, the Speakers Bureau
Mm-hmm.
will have a presentation this
On
weekend,
Saturday.
and we invited John Christie, Commissioner, and also Kate Best, who is the Registrar of Wills and Recorder of
Is
Deeds.
she related to Patrick?
She
His
is
wife.
related to Patrick through marriage. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, Patrick Best will be on the show, I believe, next week. So stay tuned.
Yes. So that's our program for this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Our next program will be in May 17th, and details on that will be announced.
Okay.
And we're looking for ways to, and this is one of the reasons why I came to this show, because young people like social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that some young people tune in and can hear about what we do and can be interested enough to come to a meeting.
Hmm.
Because I want to share everything I know with as many people as I can. And I know a few things at this point in my life.
Of course you do.
So-
You've been around, you see.
So I'd like to share that, and I'd like to say why we're doing it.
And that's why I asked you to come on the show. If you remember in the beginning of the show, what I did say is I'm here to give you your flowers while you are here. So from the Empowerment Show, we thank you very much for being a pillar of the community. You as well, young lady.
Thank you. And I
You
just
as
want
well.
to say
Yes.
the theme for this year for the Speakers Bureau of the Top of the Mountain is putting a face on local government.
Right.
We're inviting different officers within the local government to come and speak to the community where you can ask questions, understand how decisions are made.
So that sounds like Tara Probst. That sounds
We've
like
had Tara
Maureen Madden.
before. We've had,
That's who it sounds like. It sounds like Tomiko Patterson. It sounds like a few. It sounds like, you know who it sounds like? It sounds like Miss Betty Taylor, Miss Nellie Terrell. That's who it sounds like.
well, she's a pillar of the community.
Yes, she is.
No.
Okay, ladies, we're about at the end of the show, and I want to thank you guys for coming down. All right, I hope it wasn't a long drive.
No, it's
Yeah.
not long.
Okay, all right. We gave you a couple of compliment mugs. Please enjoy and take them with you. Okay,
And get empowered.
and please get empowered. Stay tuned to the Empowerment Show. Tomorrow, Thursday, we have a new show coming on. You're going to have to tune in to find out. That will be at 5 o'clock. So please stay tuned to the Empowerment Show at 5 o'clock tomorrow. All right. As the young lady always says to me, make sure that you be yourself, because everyone else is taken. All right. We're out.